In a new interview released this morning, you know who told Time magazine what he would do if he gets back in the White House. Things like this. He's going to let states monitor a woman's pregnancy.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
He's going to deploy the military to deport migrants.
And the Mexicans are going to pay for it.
And he's going to absolutely consider pardoning January 6 rioters.
Of course.
Now, he was also asked if he thinks there will be political violence if he loses, and he answered, it depends.
Is he referring to something he was wearing?
You're on fire already.
You know?
Think about that, folks. Think about what? Think about what will be that states they'll have the right to monitor a pregnant woman? What does that mean? What does that mean? Again, we don't know. So, again, we'll be expound on what you're saying somewhat, so then we understand what your point is. But, I mean, Donald Trump exporting people? Well, I hope he does. I hope the hell he does. Again, we understand under Joe Biden, we went from 450,000 people crossing the border, Trump's last year, to almost 1.8 million crossing the border, Biden's first year. So again, we understand that. Again, Biden took apart Trump's policies at the border, took it apart. And so far, we have seen right about 7.5 million people cross the border in the past 3.5 years. So, again, I definitely hope Trump does something. I definitely hope so. Again, I think the vast majority of people, they understand that if Biden gets reelected, there's something else going on there. There is. And again, the majority of polls have Donald Trump leading. I think people, they understand that if Trump does not get elected, there's something else going on there. And it makes people uneasy. And as far as pardoning January 6ers, I mean, again, we have truly got to understand that we don't know everything that's going on there. We don't. Again, they're not telling us everything. We know that some of those folks, they were shown around beforehand. We saw that on tape. Tucker had that. So again, we know that. We know there's something else going on there.
Is this, I mean, there's also, this is my favorite.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you before I say it that it enraged me. There is a definite anti-white feeling in the country right now.
Oh, please.
Yeah, that's what he said. You know, sir.
Oh, sir.
Yeah, sir. Nobody in your family was hung. Nobody in your family was chased because of the color of their skin. How dare you? There's no anti-white issue here. You are perpetrating anti-humanist issues here. So the question is he the future? Is he the future? Well, I gotta ask.
Yeah.
That's the gig, they pay me.
You know what, Whoopi? I think you're using the word wrong. Because again, I believe it should be hanged, not hung. I believe it should be hanged. And again, hung kind of implies that, again, in a certain region of your body, maybe you have more than most. You're hung. But to be serious, again, her argument went right back to, years and years ago. This is what I'm talking about now. And that's what the issue is. Again, right now, the hate towards white people is happening in the present. It's not happening in the past. And again, I'm not saying things didn't happen bad against blacks. Of course they did. There was slavery, and slavery was wrong. But there was Jim Crow. And again, we understand now we would do things differently. But this was years and years ago. And as a matter of fact, right now, you have all kinds of programs, DEI and affirmative action and whatever, that benefit black people, that truly benefit blacks over whites, over Asians. But again, we live in a country that's racist. And how dared Donald Trump say what he had to say? How dare him want to combat anti-white racism? I mean, come on. We truly have to recognize, man, if you're white, you are 8 times more likely to be attacked by a black person than you are if you're a black person attacked by a white. Again, that does not happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen at all, but it happens very, very rare in comparison. Majority of interracial attacks are from blacks onto whites. But again, they don't want you knowing that. They don't, several times more likely. But again, they don't want you hearing that. Me, myself, I'm getting close to the 50-year mark. And, I've been called a white boy on social media by college-age black kids. Again, could you imagine that the other way around? Again, nobody bats an eye if some 18-year-old called me a white boy. But could you imagine if some 18-year-old white kid, called some 50-year-old black man a black boy? Could you imagine? They would go out of their damn mind. But again, we got to accept this. We have got to accept this because, again, there's no such thing as racism against whites. No such thing. Yeah, there is. And again, I wouldn't call it racism on either side. It's hate. Again, racism is a fancy word they put on things, but it's nothing but hate. And the majority of racial hate is directed towards white people by blacks and by browns, by whatever. Not the other way around. We know this.
I read this big time interview this morning, and it's Trump in his own words saying these scary things. But I wasn't as taken aback as I should be, because for the last 4 years, myself, others who spoke out against him have been saying literally line by line what he's saying in his own words in this piece. And it is devastating to me that is not resonating with Republicans, a party I've been a member of my whole life, that they're just not believing it. The other day, Bill Barr, the former attorney general, was asked about something I had stated where Trump said that somebody should be executed because they leaked a bad story about him. And he basically was like, I don't recall that. But on other occasions, he said stuff like that. But we shouldn't take him literally. No, the things he says we should take literally. And I've said this 1,000 times. There won't be guardrails next time. There won't be Mark Esper. There won't be John Kelly. There won't be Jim Mattis. That article. He says he's going to only hire loyalists and people who say that the last election is stolen. So he's admitting he's going to staff a White House and the entire federal government with either liars or lunatics. It is very scary. And I just want to underscore, because I want Trump to lose, he and Joe Biden are neck and neck. It is very real that in 7 months we will wake up to President-elect Donald Trump, and that should be scary for every American.
It is scary.
You know what's really scary? 4 more years of Dementia Joe. Again, we have to be honest about this. Guys, I'm no doctor, but there is something really wrong with that man. there's something really wrong with him. And it's not just that. There's something truly wrong with the Democratic Party, the party that believes that you can take a girl and make her a boy, and you can take a boy and make him a girl. And not only can you, but that's kind to do so. And no, it's not. It's abuse. And we have to recognize that. So again, that's the party that wants to abuse kids, that wants to allow that. And again, we know that a 10-year-old child cannot make up their mind whether or not they want to get puberty blockers. I mean, they can't. They have no idea what they're talking about. They're 10, 11, 12. We have truly got to reconcile it. But again, they're telling you that if you don't agree with them on this, then again, not only are you crazy, but you're not nice. You're not kind. As a matter of fact, you are kind. Being honest, being truthful is kindness. But, yeah. Guys, I'm going to show you a clip of Donald Trump talking the other night. And he was talking about Europe and how he's not going to allow that to happen here. Guys, watch this.
Look at Paris. Look at London. They're no longer recognizable. And I'm going to get myself into a lot of trouble with the folks in Paris and the folks in London. But you know what? That's the fact. They are no longer recognizable. And we can't let that happen to our country. We have incredible culture, tradition. Nothing wrong with their culture, their tradition. We can't let that happen here. And I'll never let it happen to the United States of America.
You know, guys, man, the Biden administration, they're trying to make what Donald Trump said on stage racist. He's racist because, again, he wants to preserve European culture, American culture, white culture. Again, he's not kowtowing to everything white is bad. He's not buying into that. So he's dangerous. No, he's not. He's right. I mean, we have truly organized, man. Some truly great things came out of Europe. I mean, truly great things. I mean, works of art, music, the composers. Again, there's a big difference in Mozart in comparison with some guy in a jungle somewhere beating on a drum. I'm sorry, there is. Now, I'm not saying anything bad about the person beating on a drum, but we have to recognize that we have to preserve our culture, our heritage. We have to. And again, we have to realize it's worth preserving. And what they're doing right now is they're brainwashing these kids, like in the pro-Palestine, protest. They're convincing them that white is wrong, that Christian is wrong, that Jewish is wrong. It's wrong. It's all wrong. And again, if you don't go along with the crowd, then guess what? You're bad, you're racist, you're whatever. And again, this started many years ago with white people that are now, older, 60s, 70s, who are too weak to stand up and say, no, look, no, that's wrong. Again, white people are too afraid of being called racist. And people like Donald Trump, they're not. They will stand up. They will say no. And again, we have got to get to this point in this country to where, everyday people stand up and say no. We're not racist just because we want to preserve certain European cultures, and we want to make London the way it has been for eons. That doesn't make us racist. We have to truly recognize. And again, in this country, the same thing is happening. Look at the southern border wide open. Again, people coming across. And again, the reason why they're bringing people into this country is because white, middle class America is not so easily controlled. They have to dilute things, they have to bring things down. I'm not saying about the color of skin, but they have to make things less. They have to bring down the quality of people. They have to bring down, again, white Europeans and white Americans, they build. They don't want to take money from the government. They don't want to be relied on the government. They want to build. They want to, and again, that's what they want to bring down. Because again, if they bring people from other countries and whatever that expect something, again, they could be controlled. They dilute what's already here. And that, my friends, is what is happening. But guys, man, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thanks. You son of a.